How do we feel? I guess I feel the same every year, trepidation. Although we think we are well prepared, you never know what's going to happen. And it's the same feeling every year. I suppose like everybody, you know, when you go into an examination, you feel very uncomfortable, even though you think you're well prepared. Having said that, I can say that after 20 years, I feel fairly confident of what we are to expect. That's about it. Jimmy?
Yeah. In a way, this year, we try to give a new image to Adfest. We have 32 speaker sessions. We have the breakout stage, which is new. We have the open space workshop, which is new. And we basically, delete the old floor plan and use the space to its maximum. And so anyone who has been to Adfest before, when he or she walk in, he or she will feel this is not the same Adfest that they've been to. There will be a lot of feature and all that. Of course, the anxiety, as Vinit, is that will there be any glitches? Will the venue be buzzing? Because the last thing you want is a nicely done venue with not enough traffic. Because in a way, we are diluting our delegate. In the old days, they all being hurdled into the main event hall. This year, they have the choice. There are many choice to go around.
I guess in a way, what Jimmy is saying is that we are also reflecting the trend of things that has been happening. Because if you look back 20 years ago, the awards that we have for Adfest were only 3. You talk about television, print, and mobile. Whereas nowadays, you're talking about 18 categories. So the kind of people who come are varied and from slightly different fields. In fact, the media scene is really rather fragmented. And for that reason, we're having to respond by having more of everything, really. And that makes it kind of difficult, but also very exciting, because every year is an experiment. You always add something new, and you're never quite sure, and you're only hopeful, and that's what we're doing. Well, Young Lotus is one of my hobby horse, if you like. I started it because we believe that young creative people everywhere are not really given enough exposure for obvious reason. They're very junior in the organization. But we think that they have potential, and for this reason, we want to pick them up. We want to recognize and say, look, you're the future of this region. We don't care what country, we don't care what company, but we recognize, and we want to kind of give you that chance of exposure, of meeting people, of learning something new, and forming your own sort of networking. And this has been one of the most popular and most useful project of Adfest, I guess. Yes.
And Fabulous 5 does a similar job in film production.
Yeah, Fabulous 5 is a jewel of the crown of Adfest. We're very proud of it. It evolved from like a basic panel discussion of a young film director to a competition. This year we have 65 submissions, and at the request of last year's panel, they said, oh, there's too many good scripts. If you limit it to Fabulous 4, that means 4 new directors got selected. What a pity, what a shame. Can we extend it? So that's why this year we extend to Fabulous 5. But the same comment arises. There are too many good scripts to choose from. Can we extend it further and say, that's going to be a problem, because we want the Fabulous 5 script are select based on voting by the Filmcraft jury. They go ahead to produce the film according to the synopsis they submit, and then we fly them in and put them on stage. They show their film, and the jury president of Filmcraft will ask them about some question, and also, most importantly, share with them how the jury thought about their film. I mean, this is a great learning exercise, and the Fabulous 5 session is always ranked very high, and people really go into watch the film, I mean the short film, and listen to what the young director have to say, and also listen to what the jury president have to say. In the past, many of the Fabulous 4 director now has become very hot director, not just Asia, but in Europe. They're signed up by executive producer from Europe as well. So we're very happy, we're very proud of this product. We also echo to Vinit. Our mission is to groom the new blood, the new talent of our region.
Is that mission how you developed a relationship with DNAD, which has the same educational?
There's one common personality between us and DNAD. Both of us are not for profit. Both of us are very much into helping the young blood part. So it is not a kind of legally tied relationship, but out of mutual respect. So every year they send one of their president or top guy to our festival to do keynote speech and run a DNAD workshop, which always got filled up very fast in her enrollment. And in return, I go to the DNAD festival, take up one session, speaker session, to share with them their delegate, something that they are not commonly able to pick up is the winner of the unique category of Adfest called Lotus Root, which is kind of the best use of local culture. As everyone knows, APAC, and now we add MENA into it, is such a diversified region. You can imagine different country, different market. If we manage to pick on creativity that's rooted in local culture, it's a very colorful presentation.
You know, when we talk of continents, we tend to conjure up image of something that is whole. But when you come to Asia, for example, in fact, it's unique in the sense that although it's one whole Asia as a continent, when you look down, the diversity is enormous. We all have very long history and culture. You talk about China or India, they're the major civilizations of the world, under which they spawn sort of subculture, Korea or Japan, all this and that. So to reflect what Jimmy talked about, the root and award that we have that glorified the different root and culture that is in this. We want to highlight these differences as something unique, because it is something unique. And in doing so, we also want people to be very aware and to protect the indigenous culture, because if you're not careful, you keep thinking that, okay, something in the West is probably better, and you go on copying, and you learn the wrong lesson. So to recognize your own indigenous is part of the DNA of Adfest. This is what we are, and let's be proud of it, and let's recognize it.
I'd like to add on one thing, this diversity of culture in the entire region. At Adfest, it's a 2+2 festival. The first 2 days is more on production, craft, and technology. The second last day is the DNA of Adfest, which is all about creativity. We even implement this diversity over the lunch that we provide for delegates. Out of the 4-day lunch, one day will be designated to Asian noodles. Think about it. In our region, every market has a different way of preparing noodle and eating noodles. And another lunch we designated to curry of Asia. You can think about, from India to Southeast Asia to Korea, each market have quite a different way of taste in curry. So we're putting all this even, reflecting it even on the lunchtime, on the lunch menu. So I'm very much looking forward to sample noodles and the curry on a different date. Instead of course, we still have the international buffet. That's pretty much and vegetarian and the other choice.
In fact, taking on the theme of diversity, we are very much aware that in fact, at fairs or any other function, when you look at it, the contents are very similar. You have similar speakers talking about similar subjects, and so whatever you call the title, the meat is the same. What we want to do as different, starting off with the noodle, for example, that already give it a tinge of different, and people say, oh, I feel like Japanese noodle, or I feel like this pad thai, which is becoming very well known now, things like that. We want to extend into our event itself, certain unique characteristic of a country. So for example, if you take Japan, we will one year have something about Japanese, where delegates can come in and perhaps play game, like what is a place with the most onsen in Japan, for example, and people will have to guess and get a prize. So we're beginning to try to make Adfest not only just an event of speakers, but also in itself represent the different cultures in the region that is reflected here. So in the end, we hope we can make it into a festival in a real sense and not just a place of knowledge per se. Yeah.
And increasing your diversity even more is Tomorrow Biz School, which brings in marketers into Adfest. Can you tell me about Tomorrow Biz School?
I have this belief. Only good clients make great agency. If you are dealing with a client who understands creativity, who crave for creative communication, who push the agency for better creative product, the agency then have no excuse not to create great work. So that's where it was started. And we have each year 56 jury, among them top creative leader within and beyond our region. We also, because of the change of the media landscape, 4 years ago we started to have Media Lotus, Effective Lotus. This year we inaugurate the e-commerce Lotus. And in order to do that, you need specialists, another discipline to coming in. So the business school idea is a 4-day course. You have to enroll. At first, we were to think of limiting to a marketer to participate, and on the 4th day, they need to do a presentation of a live brief, come up with a creative business solution. Then we find out that a lot of the agency folks say, wait a minute, we also like the program, because I invite 8 jury, and also I invite a very seasoned creative guy called Tae Kwan Hin to be the volunteer school principal, and himself, he has already changed to doing training for clients. So we have a lot of requests from the non-marketer delegate and say, why are you excluding us? We also want to enroll. So our deal is that, okay, if you're a marketer delegate, when you enroll, you definitely got a slot. If you're a non-marketer, we put you on a standby list, and if we have vacant, you're more than welcome, because the capacity of the biz school, in order to make it work, we have to keep it to like no more than 50. Let me come back to the D&AD workshop. It is year after year the most sought after workshop. And previously we capped it at 50, and we always have a long waiting list, and we always have people on standby, walk in, hoping if there's someone who failed to show up, they'll take that seat. This year, the trainer for the D&AD workshop told us that he would prefer that the workshop to be capped at 35, so that it's more engaging, more interactive. So we have prepared a time slot. When that first workshop fill up, we're going to open up the second one. So those people who are late to enroll can still get into the second day workshop, which is the same, it's identical.
You know, just to go back to what Jimmy was talking about, the numbers. First, there was a fabulous 4, and now there's fabulous 5. Where does it end? In the case of Young Lotus, in fact, it's the other way around. The more, the better. We traditionally have people from around 13, 14 markets in the region. This year we break all record and we have 18, which includes the Middle East, an area where we had always felt that we should be building a bridge, because after all it is part of Asia. So things don't happen quickly, but it has started, and we hope to continue on this. Yes.
That's obviously something to be incredibly proud of. What else are you proud of?
I'm sorry?
What else are you proud of at Adfest, both of you?
Well, I don't know. I guess we are proud of the fact that we started this thing, you know. When you say not for profit, it really means to say that it is for a noble cause. You know, we think that education, particularly if you look back 20, 30 years ago, the advertising quality and quantity in Asia, actually, it's terrible. No? So we thought there's a mission here, there's a role here, that if you form a kind of a forum, a center, that we can promote and encourage better advertising for raise the standard, that would be a good thing. And secondly, also to recognize the indigenous culture, not to lose this from each of the country. And these are the two major reasons. Other reason, in fact, is that even for a few days away from work, it really is a kind of a busman holiday. You actually take time to refocus on yourself and say, what have I been doing all this time, you know, where am I going? It's good for you. It's a kind of a tonic, you know? Otherwise, day in, day out, you're just stuck with the job, for example. So all these things, I think, are very beneficial to those who come. And we feel that, well, if we have done something along this line, we've done a good thing. That's really it. Yeah.
Every year, one of my major challenge in organizing Adfest is assembling of juries. We intentionally keep our jury panels small, 7 of them. That means it's a very intimate jury that you have to engage with each other and to be open mind and get into discussion, debate. You know, Asian being Asian, we are too polite in some time, but we still encourage them to express their different points of view. And so you can imagine a panel of 7, we seldom have the same 2 city, or the jury from the same city, 2 city, or the same jury from the same ethnic group put together. And bear in mind, we also have to avoid having, the same 2 agencies in the same panel. So it's always a challenge. It's almost like an art to assemble the panel. Last year, the grand jury president, Ms. Joy King, came to be the grand jury president, and it's her first trip to Thailand. And obviously, she got very impressed by the way we operate, by the spirit and all that. And before she left, she came to me and said, Jimmy, love this. This is a great thing. I only have one criticism. And she said, you need to have more female jury. This year, if you look at the website, out of the 56 jury judging 18 category, over 1/3 of them are female, 1/3. And I can tell you, it's not that easy in Asia to find senior female executive, creative or the media side, to have the credential and the profile to sit as a jury. And also we need to consider a mix of not just within the region. We also need to think of good top jury from outside the region. One example, our film craft jury this year is an epitome. I don't know whether I can repeat it next year. The jury president is an executive producer, American, came from Los Angeles, from a very top production house. Then we have an Indian animation director, a Thai director, a Hong Kong director, an Australian music company executive producer, a director from Cairo. His company won Best of Film Lotus last year. And we have a Japanese female editor. I mean, think about 7 jury from 7 different ethnic groups and also multi-discipline. I mean, this is like the all black. I mean, it is the creme de la creme when it comes to the quality of the judging panel.
And the last question, challenges and opportunities for the future.
Sorry?
Challenge
and
and
opportunities for the future.
Well, we talk quite a bit about this. Sadly, we think the long term of advertising per se, particularly in terms of budget, is not going up. At best, it's kind of stagnant, and there's a very good tendency that we see that is going down. I guess partly the technology that has come in is to blame. In my early days, we talk about television, which is the bulk of where the money is gone, for example. And these days, you talk about a profusion of media within the internet circle. I can't even name any of these. I think the market has really taken a huge change. There's a great fragmentation. And somewhere along the line, a lot of the money sort of disappear into the pipeline somewhere. So I guess the quality of the people would still be there. It's needed. Advertising will not go away. But I guess the media had changed. And basically, there's going to be less money, and you have to work harder for the same dollar, I think.
For me, the challenge is that push on the DNA of Adfest being creativity, but push it forward beyond marketing communication. Because today, you look at all sort of business, creativity is always part of it. Startup. If you don't have an idea, forget it. Don't even think about it, right? And this idea can be a product idea, can be a service idea, can be an idea that change people's habits. So to me, all those is creativity. Obviously, saying it's easy, doing is difficult. Need a lot of thought, need a lot of hard work, and need a lot of input from different industry that involve creativity. So hopefully for FS 2020, we have some new product and new program that keep us up to date with the trend of the industry.